Hey, I'm going to keep this video pretty short and to the point. Looking at my stats, I noticed that people only watch maybe 3 or 4 minutes on average of my videos, and some of them are 25 minutes long. So, I need to stop saying so much. I need to stop pausing, and I need to kind of wrap it up quicker. Okay, so basically, Facebook. I put up something on Facebook about a child of like 4, 5, 6, 7, a boy wearing a dress, and in the picture it's like an aqua colour dress. It's like this greeny blue kind of dress, and I said that I wouldn't like my son of that age to be wearing a dress on a regular. If they're in school or preschool, and they have a dress-up day, or, you know, there are like loads of different outfits to choose from, and a boy dresses up in a dress, I wouldn't be, as a teacher, I wouldn't be like, take that fucking dress off right now. I think that even comes across as like, it's like sort of unnecessary, and it sets you up to be like the teacher that's like kind of sort of a fascist. Yeah, anyway, sorry. Oh, Jesus Christ. There's like way too much going on in my mind to like focus. Okay. Whew. Okay. I want to try and put this into context, because I think it's situational. I think if my 6 or 7 year old son came to me and said, "Can I get a dress for Christmas or a birthday?" I'd be more inclined to say, yeah. I don't know if that's going to be like a regular thing. Fuck it. I would take a chance, just to make him happy for his birthday or for Christmas. If wearing a dress to him became like a regular thing, I wouldn't pin him down and fucking take the dress off him and burn it. I would discourage it. I think it's very important for children of 4, 5, 6, and 7 to assimilate into some sort of like normal society. It is not the norm for little boys to be wearing dresses. It is not the norm. No matter how much the extreme left, the extreme liberals want you to think or believe that it's the norm, and that everyone should just be fine with it, it's not the norm. No fucking way. I don't want to set my son, my young son, up to be explicitly, overtly different, especially at his age, 4, 5, 6, and 7. It's a critical like point insofar as like peer groups and social standing. And their circle has become one of like not just a family, but then peer groups as well within their classroom. It's all well and good to you at home say that your son can wear a dress and you've no issue with it. You can't expect everyone to have the same moral code as you do. So when that son walks out of the house and people, our other children, see this young fella in a aqua turquoise dress, it's not always gonna like go down well. It's more than likely not going to be well received. It opens a child up for like kind of bullying, ridicule, isolation, being an outcast, and that's okay Oh shit. That's okay if you are an outcast, or if you are like different. Um, when you're over the age of 18, I'd consider myself a bit fucked up, a bit like different, a bit like odd. That's okay. I'm 25. I can handle it. I can handle the shit that comes with that. I've had a few years of training to deal with it. A child who's like 6 or 7 hasn't had the life experience to deal with the training that's necessary that comes with the territory of being overtly different. Um, they can't rationalize in their head your agenda. So your agenda might be social justice. Your agenda might be let's make everyone the same. Your agenda might be gender's a social construct. 6 and 7 year olds are not going to understand what you mean. They lack the rationale, they lack the life experience, and they lack the objective thinking. Okay? You can't make a child an adult. There are some wicked, vile, disgusting, despicable parents out there who will indoctrinate their children of 4, 5, 6, 7 into things like veganism, religion, this whole gender is a social construct bullshit. All these different kinds of like indoctrinations that you love to indoctrinate yourself with, and you'll indoctrinate all your friends, and you'll hang around with the exact same people as you because they back up your worldview, and they indoctrinate their children with that. So now their children are pretty much indoctrinated until they get to a point as a teenager or in their 20s when they challenge those views and like those norms, because a child will look up to a parent and kind of figure what they do is kind of like normal. Now, that being said, when I said I would discourage my son from wearing dresses, I would obviously sit down and talk to the guy. There is a tone and a conversation that you can have that I was trying to portray over Facebook that I don't think comes well over text. I think you need video for this kind of stuff. I think a lot of stuff can be misconstrued in text. I would ask why or how come you want to wear like a dress, and as I said, I wouldn't be a bully about it, and I wouldn't even have the tone, the vocal tone of being a bully. I wouldn't even be standing over him. I would be sitting side by side as to create this non-power struggle. I'd ask, like, why do you want to wear a dress? I am very, very much of the belief that there is inherent things that boys are good at and boys do, and there are inherent things that girls do and that girls are good at. Some things boys are better at, some things girls are better at. I do not buy into all these fucking labels. The only labels I'll buy into are like gay. That includes like homosexuality and lesbianism. I'll buy into bisexuality. I'll buy into transgenderism even. I don't buy into like gender queer, non-binary, fluid. Fuck off. Just fuck off trying to like get people to fucking think like you do, act like you do. Fuck off. Leave people alone. I don't buy into any of that shit. Is that just a title to make yourself feel important? Is that a title to say, "Oh, I'm non-binary, I'm non-gender, I'm non-conforming"? You're confusing everyone. You sound like you are heavily mentally ill. Well, I believe it's a mental illness. I believe all these fucking labels are like a mental illness. Are there parts of your personality that you have now taken to be like your whole gender? And like, why does your gender like define you? Like, I notice with like some, it's not actually necessarily like lesbians or gay guys. It's like the trans community. Everything that they fucking do is about their sexuality. A lot of what they talk about is their sexuality. They're defined by their sexuality. What else is going on for them? Like, what else do you do? Do you have anything going on? Are you just thinking and thinking, this hamster wheel rolling around in your fucking head about how amazing it is to be transgender, and everyone better accept me for who I am, or else? Look, there's a massive suicide rate in the transgender community. There's roughly 40% of trans people will kill themselves before surgery and after surgery. They're the exact same suicide numbers. I don't want to confuse my young son at such a young age to do something or act a certain way because it's politically correct or it's cool. Because not everyone is doing it. The minority of boys want to be girls. It's such a fraction of a minority. But we still act. Well, that community still act as if it's the majority. Like, the majority of boys want to be girls. No, they don't. Most boys are very fucking content with being boys. And stop trying to pressure boys into being girls. There are things that are inherently masculine, and there are things that are inherently feminine. Stop indoctrinating your children to think that gender is some sort of social construct. It's not. Inherently, biologically, from a primordial, prehistoric level, there are things that are attributed to boys and things that are attributed to girls. The left extreme will have you believe otherwise. They want everyone to kind of be the same. And as far as I can tell, it's a push towards femininity. And a rejection of masculinity. A society that's liberal crumbles. It's been seen through civilization, through the fucking thousands of years. Society that's liberal, or that has liberal-leaning views, crumbles. Because it's a degeneration of the family unit. It's the degeneration of children. It's the degeneration of values, the degeneration of society. Conservatism keeps society together. Conservatism is a sound and pretty solid structure to keep a society together. We're not fighting any great wars at the moment in Ireland. We're not fighting any major battles. But our battle is like our identity. You know, how we see ourselves. It's so fucking self-absorbed, self-obsessed, and fucking narcissistic. It's like, it's the pinnacle of narcissism. Look, I don't want my son who's 6 or 7 wearing a dress. I'm not going to bully him out of not wearing it. I will just discourage it. And as he gets older, and more like, let's say, the ability he has to take in information is sounder. I will then explain things like the pros and cons. And as he gets older then, at 18 or over 18, I won't really have an issue. If my son, who's 18 or 19, wants to like cross-dress, if he wants to be a woman, if he is so identified with the feminine that he wants to be a woman, I don't mind that. I really don't mind that, so long as he's a fucking adult. And he's come to he's weighed up the pros and cons throughout his lifetime so far about being a woman, or a woman trapped in a man's body. But I'm not going to encourage it from a young age. That is indoctrination, and I don't do indoctrination. I don't do thought control. I don't do fucking mind control. Look, I am a Satanist. I'm a Satanist. I've read the Satanic Bible. I've read the Satanic Commandments. I've researched a lot on Anton LaVey. And the different kind of like forms of Satanism. My son or daughter is not going to be Satanist as well. I'm not going to indoctrinate them into the Church of Satan. If myself and my wife feel so inclined, I would be terrified if my child at 6 or 7 was an outcast. Fucking terrified. I would want him to assimilate fairly well to what the rest of his class are doing and the standards that the rest of his class set. I won't raise my son or daughter Satanist. If they go with their mother to church, if their mother is religious and she so happens to want them to take them to church and, you know, typical Christian shit, that's fine. They can do that. I wouldn't want my fucking beliefs to cause a friction between myself and my children, or myself and my wife. So I don't indoctrinate them into my way of thinking, because I am an individual, and everyone's an individual. Anyway, fuck it. I said this video was going to be quick. It's not. It's like 18 minutes long. Fuck you.